this demonstration, we're going to go through inventory management to process and create an outside purchase, or a stock order, I should say. Under purchasing, under the inventory management module, under purchasing, for purchase and purchase returns, when I click on this, it opens up a new window, and from here you'll see that I have purchasing and I have PO Manager. When I click on PO Manager, I have the ability to create a new purchase order. This would be for any parts that I plan on stocking, whether it's a part or a tire. This is where I would go to create the replenishment stock order. I'll simply click on Create, and here it shows me a list of vendors that I can purchase parts from. In this instance, I'm going to go ahead and select AutoZone from my drop-down menu, and I'll type in my name as the person receiving or building this outside purchase. We'll simply click on manual entry at this point. You do have three other choices that are listed here, but in this case we're going to focus on manual entry. And I'll click on build. Now what it has done is it has simply created a new purchase order number 45 under store number 1294. At this point I can just simply type in each part number that I want to create on my stock order. So in this case, I'm going to type in a couple of different oil filter part numbers that I'm looking to replenish. I'll put in an LF393 and hit tab, and it comes up and it says, oh, that's an engine oil filter. It says that you currently have 4 of them on hand, and it asks you how many are, or shows you how many are on order, and here you can put in how many you would like to order. Now, one thing that I like about this screen that I'd like to point out is that if you're paying attention to the top of the screen, it's keeping track for you of how many you sold of this particular filter in the current month, 1 month ago, 2 months ago, 3 months ago, previous 3 months combined, in the last year, and the date that it was last sold, and so on and so forth. Now, in this particular instance, we can see that we've never sold this particular part. We have 4 on hand, so most likely I wouldn't want to reorder this. But if I wanted to keep 6 of these on hand for whatever reason and I want to order 2 more, I'd simply just put in 2 as the order quantity, and I can hit the tab key to roll through down to the next line. The next line, I'll go ahead and I'll put in the next number, which is an LF413. And again, as I tab through it, it's going to keep track and show me my last cost, as well as my sold history, the fact that I have 4 on hand, and maybe I want to order 2 of those as well, and I'll tab through that and continue adding more parts as needed. I'm going to add a couple of additional parts here and then we'll continue. So continuing on with a couple more oil filters, I will go with an LF279, and again I've got 4 on hand. I want to add 2 more, and I'll go with an LF494, and here I'll add 2 more. And lastly, with the LF610, tab through LF610, and here we can see that I only have 2 on hand, and if I wanted to get those up to 6, obviously I would order 4 more. I'd continue that process until I have every part, every oil filter, air filter, whatever type of products that you're stocking, maybe wiper blades or batteries, etc., that I want added to this order. Once I have completed this, it shows me how many items I'm ordering and what my total dollar amount should be. Now, again, your cost may change when you're receiving these, and we'll handle that in a moment. For now, if I'm done with this, I'll simply click on Save in the bottom center of the screen, and then I'll click on where it says Post Print PO. It opens up another window here, and I have the option to print the purchase order. I will deselect the option where it says Create Vendor Electronic PO. That is not necessary. And I can choose where I want this print out to go. In this case, I'll choose the printer. And when I click on Post Print Purchase Order, as you can see here, it opened up a little window behind there that said Posting Single Shop PO number 45 for the store was successful. And this is just an example of what that purchase order would look like. So here we see the date and time and the store number, etc., who it was created by, and all of the different part numbers and quantities that I want to order, and our totals. So obviously you'd have a printout of that. Now it states that this order is on order. This is something that it assumes that you're either calling in or faxing in, or you're going to take that printout, you're going to email it to the supplier, and we're just waiting on it to arrive. So at this point I can simply click exit, And from the purchasing main menu, I will choose quit, and it takes me back to my point of sale inventory management menu. Once those products actually arrive and I'm ready to receive them, again from the inventory management module, I'll simply click underneath receivings where it says purchase order receipt. From here I can select the PO, and I can see that I have a couple of different purchase orders out here waiting to be received. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and put a check mark on the AutoZone purchase order number 45 and select it. And again, it's showing me in order all of the different Hastings filters, oil filters that I had said that I wanted to order. And it shows me how many were ordered, how many were on the packing list, how many received, and so on and so forth. If the full amount was delivered that was ordered, obviously I could just click here on accept all. It puts a check mark on every one of these line items here. If for some reason the packing list on the LF279s were actually 0 and you received 0, I can go ahead and continue, and just it removes that dollar amount from the overall invoice total. Obviously they didn't have them available, but I want to receive the remaining items. If my cost had changed on any of these items, maybe my cost went up or down. I'll say that my cost now on these are $4 a piece. That brings me an extension of $8. Maybe my cost on these have gone up to $3.75. That brings me to $7.50, and so on and so forth. So I want to make sure that I'm updating my costs based on the delivery receipt from the supplier. So I'll go with $3.50 there, and I'll go with $9 there, bringing my invoice total, hopefully again matching the invoice total from the supplier at $58.50. Once I've modified and accepted everything as needed, I would click on the vendor invoice totals button in the bottom left hand corner. Upon clicking on that option, on the far right hand corner of the screen here, I see a little ellipsis button or 3 dots. When I click on that is where I can put in if there was any shipping or handling included with that invoice. If there was not, I would want to make sure that the $58.50 here, which should match the invoice from the supplier, is what I will type in for the invoice total. $58.50. I type in the invoice number from that supplier and select the date and the method of payment, which is most likely going to be a charge account with that particular supplier. If you did pay them by cash or by some other method, you could choose from the drop-down list accordingly. Simply click Done, Done, and Post, and in doing so, that has now just received all of those oil filters into my stocking inventory. I can click on Done here. And if I wanted to ever do any kind of tracking or verification of what parts have been received, when and where they came from the inventory management menu, I can click on inventory and go to tracking, type in any of those part numbers. For example, one of them was an LF393, and when I hit tab, it shows me here that on 3/23 of 2021, I had a purchase order receipt from AutoZone, PO number 45, where I received 2 of them. Cost per unit was $4, and it brought me up to a total of 6 on hand, where I was previously at 4 on hand. I could type in another part number and do the exact same thing. So LF413 and hit tab, and I see the same thing where that particular product was received on purchase order number 45 for AutoZone. I could print this information if I'd like, or I could look at the order details and or hit done, and I'm back to my inventory management menu.